Why America used nuclear weapon. On Japan, December 7, 1941, changed the world forever. At 7:57 a.m., Japanese bombers attacked Pearl Harbor, bringing America into World War II. But why did Japan dare to strike America? How did an African-American cook named Doris Miller become a hero that day? And what led America to unleash the devastating power of nuclear bombs on Japan just 4 years later? Find out why Japan targeted Pearl Harbor, how Miller's bravery won him America's highest award, and the reasons behind America's use of nuclear weapons. Watch till the end to uncover the answers to these pivotal questions and witness the events that reshaped history. America's position in World War II. This story begins in 1941, when in World War II, America had staked everything to support China, the same China against which today, in 2023, America speaks openly. By then, 3 years had passed since the start of World War II, with Germany and Italy on one side, and Britain, the Netherlands, and France on the other. America had no part in this war, and remained completely neutral due to the losses suffered in World War I. America wanted to keep itself away from the wars in Europe and Asia, but there was one country that America continuously harassed: Japan. Japan, lacking natural resources, was aggressively taking over neighboring territories to fulfill its demands. It had captured large areas of Korea, Taiwan, and China, and had its eye on the Philippines and Malaysia in the Pacific Ocean. However, these regions were colonies of neutral America and Britain, respectively. One significant measure was the Lend-Lease Act, passed in March 1941, which allowed the U.S. to supply military aid to countries deemed vital to American security. This policy predominantly benefited Britain and the Soviet Union, providing them with critical resources to continue their fight against Germany and Italy. Additionally, America imposed economic sanctions on Axis powers, particularly targeting Japan, to curb their expansionist ambitions. By the mid-1930s, Japan had already established itself as a formidable military power in Asia, aggressively expanding its territories to secure essential resources. Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and subsequent full-scale war with China in 1937 showcased its imperial ambitions. These actions alarmed Western powers, including the United States, which viewed Japan's expansion as a threat to their interests in the Pacific region. Japan's strategic decision. Japan's occupation of these countries was not well received because of the influence of Hitler, who was an enemy of both Britain and America. In July 1941, America stopped supplying oil to Japan. Since Japan did not have its own oil, it imported 80% of its demand from America, which placed a condition that Japan first relinquish its hold on China before receiving any more oil. This was a difficult decision for Japan. Relinquishing its hold on China would signal a surrender to America despite Hitler's support. But without oil, Japan would be in a weak position. Japan decided not to retreat from China, but instead to capture Indonesia for oil. However, reaching Indonesia required first capturing the Philippines, an American territory. Japan knew that attacking the Philippines would provoke a response from America's Pearl Harbor base, so it planned a surprise attack to disable the base. The attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese military leaders secretly prepared to attack Pearl Harbor. Their fleet included 2 battleships, 39 submarines, 30 destroyers, and 414 bomber aircraft, which were launched from 6 aircraft carriers. On the American side, Pearl Harbor had 8 battleships, 59 anti-aircraft ships, submarines, and 390 aircraft, sufficient forces to thwart Japan's attack, provided they had advance warning. Japan aimed to keep the attack a secret, avoiding any wireless communication. Covering a distance of about 8,000 kilometers, the Japanese fleet positioned itself 370 kilometers from Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, at 7:57 a.m., 350 Japanese aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor in 2 waves. The first wave rained bullets and bombs for 45 minutes, followed by a second wave that continued the assault for another hour, causing massive destruction. The second wave of 167 aircraft focused on remaining targets, including shipyards, fuel storage depots, and other ships. Despite the devastation, some key assets, such as the aircraft carriers USS Enterprise, USS Lexington, and USS Saratoga, were not in port and thus escaped damage. The attack ended at around 9:45 a.m., leaving behind significant destruction. 2,403 Americans were killed, 1,178 were wounded, and numerous ships and aircraft were destroyed or damaged. Doris Miller's heroic actions. During the attack, Doris Miller, an African-American cook on one of the battleships, showed extraordinary bravery. He helped move injured officers, including the ship's captain, to safety, and then manned an anti-aircraft machine gun, shooting down several Japanese planes despite having no training. For his heroism, Miller was awarded the Navy Cross, the second highest military decoration for valor in the United States, second only to the Medal of Honor. Miller's bravery did not go unnoticed. On May 27, 1942, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz awarded him the Navy Cross, making him the first African-American to receive this honor. The citation praised his distinguished devotion to duty, extraordinary courage, and disregard for his own personal safety. Miller's actions became a source of inspiration and pride for African Americans and helped pave the way for desegregation in the U.S. Armed Forces. America's response and the aftermath. The attack on Pearl Harbor thrust America into World War II. The very next day, America declared war on Japan. Over the next 3 years, America rebuilt its naval base and launched counterattacks, including a significant bombing raid on Tokyo in April 1942. The intense battles between America and Japan continued until 1945. By then, Japan had become very weak, but was still unwilling to surrender. In August 1945, America used its ultimate weapon, the atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, a Boeing B-29 Superfortress dropped a bomb named Little Boy on Hiroshima, causing massive destruction. Just 3 days later, on August 9th, America dropped another bomb, Batman, on Nagasaki. These nuclear attacks led to Japan's surrender and marked the end of World War II. The use of nuclear weapons on Japan remains a subject of intense debate, with arguments about the necessity and morality of the bombings. However, these events undeniably altered the course of history, ushering in the nuclear age and significantly impacting global geopolitics and warfare. The attack on Pearl Harbor and the subsequent events profoundly changed the course of history. The bravery of individuals like Doris Miller, the strategic decisions made by both America and Japan, and the devastating use of nuclear weapons are all parts of this significant historical narrative. The lessons learned from these events continue to resonate today as reminders of the impacts of war and the importance of striving for peace.